Hi, this is Jada introducing Juanita Barr, a dietitian that has been in Africa for the last 2 months. And we're just going to go over a little bit of her experience. Juanita, what's your experience like?
So my experience is very impactful. I've learned a lot. Grew as a person. I actually traveled with my friend that I met in church in Dallas. So I went with her to Kenya first, Ethiopia, then South Africa, and then I went to Ghana to go meet another friend I met at Georgia State, and then I went home.
Wonderful. That sounds amazing. Now, anything else that was a bit of a surprise when you were out there?
Yeah, so I was very surprised as to see how modern they are. As an American, we frequently see poor African children, as they say, with these big bellies because they're malnourished. It makes it seem like everybody African lives in huts. That's definitely not the fact, and actually, a lot of Europeans actually vacation in Africa, such as South Africa and Cape Town. But that goes to show that they're very modernized in a lot of ways. One of them is Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, the capital there. Their buildings, their high rises are very familiar to New York City. Very, very clean. They even have apps such as Bolt, which is similar to Uber. And then if you go to Ghana, they'll have apps. It's mainly in Accra, major cities, but they'll have ones like Uber that you can use. And then even in Johannesburg, Cape Town, all of those, I mean, they have major malls, luxurious malls, similar to what you would see at Lenox Mall. When it comes to just the clothes, I mean, they have Balenciaga, things I can't afford in South Africa.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now, another question. Anything that you didn't like while you were over there?
Yeah, I didn't like just to see the difference in the socioeconomic. Yeah. So I learned that in Cape Town, for example, they have townships. So in the U.S., you can kind of just think of that kind of like how you would think of maybe like Section 8, government housing. Now, everybody there isn't on government housing. There are some mansions, some nice homes there. If you look at the history of these townships, basically, the Africans had their land taken away. When the colonizers came over, they're placed all together in this particular area. I mean, you think about 1 million people put into a small area, right? So they're living on top of each other, and they just never had their land given back. I go to say that it was just to see the poverty. I mean, you drive 25 minutes out, and before then, you see these beautiful mansions that celebrities stay in. You see these beautiful beachfronts, and then you see nothing but these shacks and a mixture of like some mansions here and there. And the reason why I mention mansions is because that's where the black folks live. A lot of the black folks, they typically live and reside in these townships, even though they may be well off, just because about their apartheid, which wasn't too long ago. So there is still a separation of blacks and whites that's prevalent there.
Now, thank you for the information. It's very insightful. A few other questions. Now, what would you do differently being in that environment again?
Now, what would I do differently? I would definitely hire a driver. Definitely for going through Accra, going through Ghana, which is so Accra is the capital of Ghana. It's just very hard just to get Uber, to get Bolt, because sometimes the drivers they may seem like they're on their way, 20 minutes out, and then they cancel. You get another driver, and it just makes it hard to really get anywhere. And then at night, because people tend to party at night after 4 o'clock, it's even harder to get a ride, and you're just sitting out there just waiting. And then a lot of times I see things along the way. So I saw there was a lighthouse, and it turns out that was the Jamestown area. But I mean, it's really hard to tell them, like, hey, I need you to stop. Can you just wait a little bit so I can go take a tour of this area? So it's easier to get get a driver. I think drivers are about $70 a day, and then you pay for gas. So it's not bad if you're splitting it with somebody. And another thing is for me, I was traveling with a friend, but if I was traveling by myself, and I think we would even do this a little differently as well. Staying in areas where you're next to like a grocery store, a cafe, you're near some major like entertainment that you might see. I would prefer that because just trying to get Ubers just to go to the grocery store, even if you just need some water, or if you need to go to the doctors, or if you're just hungry, you want to go to a restaurant. Which in Ghana, I would say wait time for food is obscene. I mean, if you're hungry, you need to go get a snack from the store and then come back. You may wait for an hour to get your food if you get your food. But yeah, and then having a cook.
Having a cook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would do that.
All right. Now, also, how does money differ in each country out there? I'm sure everybody's kind of curious about that.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So, I would say in Ethiopia, I was fairly surprised because it seems very modern. You do have some wealthy areas. Even in those areas, you may pay 50 cents for like an espresso, for coffee. I know for myself, I love to just get some nice hearty breakfast. So I may get a sandwich, like a side salad and a bowl of fruit. That may be 5 USD. So when I went to, let's see, Ethiopia, and I went to Addis Ababa, so I ate one of the most expensive restaurants supposedly in that area. I mean, it was $25. I think in the U.S., eating at an expensive restaurant could easily be over $100.
Very true.
Yeah. And then I would say going to Ghana, when it comes to money, if you go to the markets and you eat street food, you pay less than $5, let's say for wache. But if you're going to go to the restaurants, I would expect to pay at least $7 to maybe $20 if you're doing fine dining. But then again, you're waiting forever for your food.
Understandable. And how does your nutrition play a role in each of these countries? Like how obviously you're getting used to this kind of food. So how is that playing out for you being over there?
Yeah, so I ended up taking these enzymes. Well, not really enzymes, but they're these pills that have colostrum in it. You're supposed to eat it before you take your meal to help you break down the food better. I think it helped me be able to tolerate street food a bit better. And I would say the food that I ate there, I definitely felt lighter. I would say the first 2 weeks I was there, I had traveler's diarrhea, but that was my fault. I didn't take the medication like I should have before I ate, and it was a spread of food I've never eaten before that the pastor's wife made that was really delicious. I would say just to going back to Ghana, when I stayed at this resort called a Cumberland Lodge, the food there is made fresh every day, and that's just how the way it is in Ghana. And I think a lot of African countries is that you let them know what you want to eat, and then they'll go ahead and get from the market and make it that day. Not that day, but that time period for you. So I think a lot of times people say that when you go there, you have traveler's diarrhea, but sometimes it may be because you're not used to the bacteria that's in the food, but you may not be used to how fresh it is. I would say coming to the States, I was very upset because I'm up here looking for stuff that I can eat that doesn't have all these like preservatives in there and all that mess, but it's just really hard and ugh.
Okay. Thanks again, Juanita, for that information. Now, I do have a question about something that everyone, when they go over there, they have to do is their nutrition. How did that play a role for you being in those countries?
So I'll talk in particular about Ghana since I volunteered in Greater Ghana with a Cumberland Lodge, and I volunteered for about 2 days there in one of the villages and went to the hospital for a little bit. So I would say that their diabetes, hypertension is a high prevalence there. Also malnutrition among the children, which I saw malnutrition there. Also in South Africa with one of the kids that I saw with the family I met. So I would say when it comes to the diet, they may have two starches, may or may not have a vegetable and a protein. And then a lack of movement can also contribute to that. So I would say just re-educating them about having just a balanced diet that's according to their culture. There is a West African My Plate that's available that I showed them. Yeah.
All right. No, thank you for that. Now, because we're talking about, better health, better learning language and everything like that. Now, what happened? What helped? Oh God, what helped when it comes to your dietitian? Oh my God.
No, we gotta do this.
No, thank you again for that information for the being a dietitian and understanding that. Of course, most women would love to be out there, but how was it being as a woman out there, stay in your travels? Like, how did you manage that?
As a woman there, honestly, there's this joke that you should get a boyfriend in each country. And there's actually truth to that. I think as an American, your benefit is that a lot of them want to come over for a green card. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. If you see the way that their life is there, I honestly would do the same. Not to be, I mean, I would be honest. I'd be like, look, I like you, but I also want a green card. I'll work really hard. So they will also say, I will work really hard. They have a good work ethic. So I say that to say that they will love to spend time with you. They would love to be your bodyguard. They would show you around, show you a good time. They may even pay for everything for you. So I would say if you're going to go alone, don't be surprised if that happens. The other thing is, as a woman, I would say definitely book tours through legitimate tour companies. So Vivitar, Get My Tour Guide, those are really great to use because you're with somebody that is you can trust, someone that knows the area, but typically they're male tour guides. And then there's also a lot of agencies that take trips to Ghana. I will say that you're going to be paying 1,000 plus, even if you're just there for 4 or 5 days, just to go on a tour of various places in Accra, maybe in Kumasi. But you just have to think about your safety, think about some of these tours that you do book. Some of them are great. Some of them may be a little sketch. So some days you also just don't know. So those are things I would think about.
Okay, then. Thank you. Definitely, safety of travel for women is very important. Now, of course, while you're out there, you're having a good time. You're not just doing everything. Tell us about the dating life and the social life, of course. Like everybody's very interested in that.
Yeah, so the dating social life is really like amazing. I would say in the social life, everybody, I mean, DD December, you come there, you have a good time. People start going out 4 o'clock in the morning. Parties end at maybe 7 o'clock in the morning. For example, they had a free concert. They had Burna Boy. I think there's a guy named Fireboy, Arya Star. It was all free from 8 o'clock at night all the way to 5 o'clock in the morning. Totally packed. I didn't go because I didn't believe that there was a free concert with a list artist. I also didn't believe there's a concert that would go on at 5 o'clock in the morning because that doesn't happen in the States, but it happens there. Also, there's a club called Polo Beach. So totally lit vibe. You go out there maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. You just listen to music. You're just having a good old time, partying out. Now going to the dating scene, for example, I was out there just dancing, having a good time, and you'll get these questions. The question, they'll look at you, they smile, they come want to dance with you, and they say, "Hi, where are you from?" And then you'll say in the United States, they'll be like, "How long are you staying?" And then after they ask that question, they may say, well, there's another question I forgot, but yeah. So the reason why they're asking you where are you from is because they probably know you're from the United States. Actually, I got sick of that. I actually at one point said, "You know where I'm from," yeah. And then he backed off and laughed.
Oh no, it's freaking.
Okay, we're back, guys. Okay, so go back to the dating question. I would say if you want to try to date out there, I would recommend maybe dating somebody who's a bit westernized, somebody who has American citizenship or European citizenship. And then also too, like culturally, you guys probably understand each other better. And yeah, but
thanks again, Wendy, for that information about dating and social life out in Africa. So we're going to come to the conclusion of everything, but we just have one more question, and it's really just going to filter in with you. Like, how was your life change after this whole trip, honestly?
Honestly, I wanted to go back to Africa, but I was like, you know what? My funds are a little low. Let me come back. But I would say what I love so much about it is just the love I got from the people. It was just genuine love. Besides what I mentioned earlier, I remember I went to go volunteer at a hospital, learned a little bit about him. And the dietitian who I was with, I said, I really want to get clothes made, which I will show you right now. This is fabric from Ghana. It's actually a romper, which has pockets, which I absolutely love. A fabric like this is like $3 per yard, $20 to make. And yeah, so, but it was just, she took me to the market and she ended up showing me fabrics I could get and helped me get a good price on them. And they actually found a tailor for me, and then came to drop them off, and it wasn't close. And in America, I just feel like if I tried to get something like that here, they might scam me or they might request more money because what she did was a lot. But it was just genuine kindness, which I saw there, and just genuine love. And I think a lot of cultures that are outside of just like American culture is like there's a community, which I saw a lot there. So I would say that the person that I came as, not the person that I returned as. So I would say I'm more intentional with my friendships now, just for me, like more community. And I just valuing my own sense of peace. And I always feel like I always have to give to somebody, especially when they don't give in return. Because giving shouldn't be transactional. Friendships shouldn't just be transactional, nor a marriage. It should be about something that's mutual, and something that kind of like God, how like God loves you without you always having to just give something transactional, it's just unconditional love. And that's what I felt there. So I would say for anybody wanting to go to Africa, wanting to go to Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia, South Africa, you'll have a wonderful time. Just make sure you plan in advance. I'm not promoting this. I'm not sponsored by this, but GPT chat, it literally planned everything that me and my friend were looking for. There's Girls Love Travel, which is a Facebook group. So it's really great to use to connect with other girls. They can even help you plan your itinerary. Or if you get stranded, they can help you find a way to get home. Worst case scenario, they're very, very sweet. Just always keep your prayers with God. Pray before you get up pray when you get up in the morning. Pray when you're at an event, even pray when you're at a party. Just always pray, because you never know what may happen. Pray for peace for yourself. Pray for him to show the people he would like for you to meet, people you like to help. Because there's people that have helped me, I helped them, that I never thought I would meet. We're both a blessing to each other. So just go in there with good intentions, but also just have your safety in mind, and just know that you will be loved. And yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Wendy, for that information. We've so enjoyed this talk with you. Let everybody know your social, your events, anytime. Where can we find it? This information at. Hopefully we can see you soon again.
Yeah, so I'll put my social below. So I'll put down my TikTok, I'll put down my YouTube. You probably watch my YouTube anyway, but I'll put that all in there. And then I'll also show you my business website. I am a dietitian and do consultation. So yeah. Well, bye guys.
Well, thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Y'all have a good one. Thanks again.